we had a product that was doing like £10,000 profit per day.
Hi there, it's Sean from SaleHoo, and today I'm interviewing Chris, a massively successful entrepreneur that has spoken on stage at the annual Shopify Corporate Summit in Berlin and has been featured by Oberlo, MarketWatch, CJ Dropshipping, Sell the Trend, and it's an honor to have him featured here too on SaleHoo. He is also the CEO and founder of the Advanced Dropshipping Academy, where he has now taught over 2,000 students from 139 different countries on how to create profitable dropshipping businesses from home. So, Chris, can you give me a background of your e-commerce journey? I understand that you were juggling a 9-to-5 for some time while pursuing dropshipping.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I started dropshipping way back in probably 2014, I think it was, when I first sort of heard about it, gave it a go, completely failed. That was probably for the first 3 years or so, I think I just failed at it. Had like 5 failed store attempts, trying to work it around a full-time job. Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing, didn't know how to find products, didn't know how to market properly, just trying to wing it, just trying to make some cash kind of thing on the side. And then I think around 2017 or so, I decided to kind of really sort of knuckle down and really try to learn how to do it properly, and then launched the kind of my 6th store, which became the one that kind of got me featured by Shopify and Oberlo. And within the first 6 weeks of launching that, it made like £10,000 kind of thing at the time, and then I grew it up to about $500,000, I think it got to, and that's when Oberlo reached out for the first time for the interview and everything with them. So yeah, it was a long time coming, but then obviously since then we've built kind of 7-figure dropshipping businesses. We've launched the academy. We're teaching other people how to do the same now based on kind of our kind of unique strategy that we use.
Okay, so the 6th store was a 6-figure store.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And how long did it take to get to that level?
I think it was within 12 months of that store launching. But I was working it around a full-time job, so it wasn't like a full-time thing. I was doing it in the evenings, a couple of hours in the evenings. I ended up building up to like 6 figures whilst I was working. So I think because it was just I didn't know how long it was going to last, kind of thing. So I was a little bit wary about quitting, but once I realized there was actually a long-term kind of career in dropshipping and e-com and things, I quit the job and focused on it fully. And then we launched other sort of e-com brands, other websites kind of thing, and grew it up to a 7-figure level across multiple kind of websites.
That's amazing. How long before you actually quit your job though? Because for 12 months you stuck to it, even though you were making so much money from your e-commerce store.
Yeah, it was when I launched another store and I managed to get that successful. That's when I felt confident enough to leave.
Okay.
Because I'd done it all with one store. For all I knew, that was the only. It could have just been much. So I think I was just worried. I was just scared. It was a big step. I think quitting your job for most people is a big step, kind of thing.
Right.
For me,
it is
a huge step. So I wanted to be sure I could actually do it, and it wasn't just fluke. And once I realized that I could do it and I could repeat the process, that's when I felt comfortable enough to take that leap. And I'm glad I did, because pretty much from within the first 30 days of quitting my job, I doubled my monthly profits.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It's just, having that extra time, it's a huge difference.
But were the 7-figure stores, would you say that were they your biggest successes?
I think the business is really the biggest success, but in terms of kind of individual success, I think probably the biggest one we had was we had a product that was doing like £10,000 profit per day kind of thing for a while, which was great. I think that was probably one of the best products we ever had. I mean, we had a lot of different products that were working, but not really to kind of, that sort of level when it was doing like 10 grand a day in profit, not sales and profit kind of thing. So it was, that was a good one. That was a great success. But yeah, I think just the business as a whole was, the fact that we've managed to build it up to what it is has really been the biggest success of all.
Surely, like, even after you got major success from your first 2 stores and you continued to build other stores, were there still setbacks that you were encountering trying to build more? Because like surely, like, for scaling, that's like a whole different ball game, whole different set of challenges.
Yeah, Definitely. We get setbacks every day. They don't stop. There's
Right.
always challenges and failures, even now, kind of thing, that we still make mistakes and, still learn from things, kind of thing. It's the nature of running a business. Is always going to be failure, kind of thing, but you just learn from it. We just use it as an experience and then, make sure we don't do it again, kind of thing. And that's sort of what we do. But yeah, there was a lot of failures along the way, a lot of products that didn't work, kind of thing. We had to test multiple products and different kind of angles and different kind of sort of hooks, with video creatives and all different sort of things that we had to try and test to see, what works best. And then, once you figure out kind of what is working, you just optimize it a little bit more. So, there were challenges along the way. I mean, people call them failures, kind of thing, but we just saw them as learning experiences and just carried on. It sounds really cheesy, but it is. It's true. Kind of.
That's a really good mindset. Yeah.
We never. The way I see it is, you can only fail if you stop. Ultimately.
Right. Yeah.
We just go in and then. Yeah, lots of mistakes and challenges and expensive mistakes along the way, kind of thing. But you just deal with it and move on.
And actually, one of the things that I wanted to ask about, one of the setbacks, because I watched some of your videos, and one of the things you mentioned was the profitability ceiling. Like, there's only up to a certain point where you can scale a product before there's diminishing returns. Do you see that as a setback, or like just an indicator for you to pivot? How do you approach that sort of the profitability ceiling that you mentioned?
Well, every product has a certain level of demand for it. Ultimately, you can, if there's only a certain level of demand, you can only meet that demand with the products. You can only scale it so far. So when we talk about profitability ceilings, it's very much a case of we can only scale certain products so far. Not every single product that you try and sell will be that golden goose 7-figure kind of winner. So I think there's going to be some products that may only make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 kind of thing. And then at that point, there's not really much else you can do with it. And that's fine. You just have to pivot to something else. But really, it's all about scaling profitably. If you hit that point where you can't scale any further without that ROAS taking a nosedive, then you need to take it back to the level it was profitable and just keep it there. Okay. We've had many products in the past where they've been running at $100, $200, $300 a day profit. And that's as far as we've been able to take them, because whenever we tried to scale them, the profits just disappeared. You've not been able to scale it, because especially with like the likes of Facebook ads, with it being an auction, the more you give Facebook to budget, the bigger the bid Facebook can make for that impression. Right. So therefore your ROAS starts to naturally decrease. So with some products, you can only take them so far until you see that dip ultimately. And there's nothing wrong with just keeping a product ticking over, each day kind of thing. Even if it's making a few $100s a day sort of thing, it's still a few $100s a day profit that you can put towards testing something out. So
profit. At
the end of the day, So you just reinvest that profit back into the business to find something else, and eventually it starts to snowball. So you might have 2, 3, 4, 5 different products that are doing, 300 a day, and you've got a decent income coming in each day then, just by having multiple products running. So you don't always have to find that big 6, 7-figure winner. You can find multiple small products that sell consistently, but at a lower level, and that can still work really well.
Yeah, I think one of the things you mentioned in one of your videos was about cash flow. Like, as long as you're profitable, you can always reinvest that back into the business.
Which is something I did initially, which is why it's another reason why it took me so long to quit, because I wasn't really taking profit out. I was reinvesting it back into the business to grow it even more.
Oh, so that makes sense. Yeah. For 12 months.
Well, yeah, it was roughly around that. I'm not sure exactly in terms of what dates it was, but we didn't. I mean, we took a little bit out. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Yeah. But a lot of it went back into the business in order to scale it, because I didn't have a big budget, especially for advertising. I think I started with like £250 when I first got started with it. That's all I had. That was my budget. And I had to stretch that out and make that work ultimately. Reinvesting the profits helped that cash flow, because I wasn't taking really that much for myself ultimately. Okay. So that was the best way we found to do it. And it worked. We ended up scaling up to what it is today.
How would you sort of advise, I guess, aspiring e-commerce entrepreneurs to know when their tipping point is, like when they can say, okay, I'm gonna leave my 9-to-5, or I'm gonna drop out of college? I think that's all over YouTube. People saying they dropped out of college or whatnot. When do you think is the tipping point where they can say, okay, we've made it, and it's the ideal time to finally 100% focus on the business? I
think it's different for everybody, but I think that the general consensus is that you have at least 6 to 12 months worth of sort of bills saved up in terms of, say, salary or wage kind of thing, and monthly salary saved up for at least 6 to 12 months in savings. And then your side hustle kind of thing, or your business sort of thing, is making roughly 75% of whatever your monthly job is paying you, basically monthly wage. So if your side hustle is making you 75% of your monthly wage and you've got 6 to 12 months of savings, then that's an okay time to quit your job. But like I said, everyone's different. For me, that didn't feel like enough. I needed to make sure I was covered for years. I wanted years worth of savings until I felt comfortable quitting my job, just in case that first store that was doing really well at the time kind of thing didn't end up working long term, or we weren't able to find another product or build another brand or do something else kind of thing. So everyone's different. You got to just go when you feel comfortable that what you've done is sustainable at the end of the day. So
yeah,
my entire goal was to quit the job and never have to go back. That's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to make sure I was able to run my own business with it, especially being the first time I started doing it. And over the years we've managed to do it, build it up. We've built multiple income streams, and now I'm pretty comfortable that I probably will never have to go back to the 9 to 5. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I think that's a really good answer. Like, because a lot of the people watching our channel, they're still getting into dropshipping, and I think they don't know what they're getting into. Or some of them, they're thinking of already quitting and they haven't even started. Like, don't quit, please. For you, like, what's the criteria for products before you sell them? Like, how do you know that, like, that's a good product to sell?
We have we have a very kind of specific process we go through. We call it kind of our data-driven product validation process. Is where we focus a lot on the numbers and the stats and things rather than emotions, because a lot of people just jump onto Aliexpress or whatever, pick something random and hope that they're going to make $1 million overnight. Right. Unfortunately,
I've seen those.
We basically go through this process of looking at different kind of winning product criteria. A lot of people are familiar with kind of winning product criteria in terms of mass market appeal, problem solving, has kind of a unique element, wow factor kind of thing, those types of criterias. But we also look at things like is there a demand for it? Is there like proven sales? Is it on like trending upwards at the moment? Is it something that could work well as an impulse buy? Because different ad platforms are good for different types of products. With Facebook and Instagram, it's very much impulse buying and things like that. So is the product suitable for those platforms? And kind of all these types of things that we go through, different criteria in order to basically just make a list. We just make a list of products that we're interested in, that caught our eye, that kind of hit this sort of rough guideline as we're going through. And then we just take a deep dive into scoring them all, ranking them based on, kind of the performance across different metrics and things. And then just sort them by the highest performing ones, and then make a decision on which one we want to try. But at the end of the day, dropshipping, and it's all about testing those products.
Right. Testing this product.
By doing that doesn't mean you're going to find a 6-figure winner straight away, but it's going to help you get rid of all that kind of wasted sort of time, money, and energy of testing products that would never work in the first place, kind of thing. So we have this sort of data-driven process we go through to give us the best chance at the end of the day, because no one has a crystal ball, do they? No one knows exactly what's going to work. Test it, even if you've been doing it for as long as we have. We still have products that don't work, and we have products that do work. And it's about just understanding, whether that type of product is something that could sell. Something that hits those criteria, something that kind of pulls on people's emotions is always strong, kind of thing. People that products that make people feel better about themselves, which is why beauty as a niche is probably one of the top performing kind of niches. But it all really comes down to the products at the end of the day. Does somebody want that product? And that's where the testing comes in. Yeah,
I think that people are doing a lot of research, and they research and they just have analysis paralysis without realizing that at the end of the day, the only way you'll know is to actually just test it.
Yeah.
Do they have to sell the products in Shopify, or can they sell it on Amazon, eBay? Like, what do you personally do? Do you only do Shopify, or?
It's Shopify dropshipping we focus on. We don't do eBay or Amazon dropshipping kind of thing. We're all about building sort of our own brands and teaching our clients to build their own brands, kind of thing, in terms of running their own traffic to their own website, being in control of everything that's happening, rather than having to try and compete for a buy now button on Amazon, with a bunch of other sellers, kind of thing. We don't want to deal with any of that and all the policies that come with that kind of thing. We're focusing on Shopify dropshipping with your own website, your own brand. And then, you test those products, and then ultimately you want to get to the point where you get your own, fulfillment centers and things like that, and shipping out yourself. Well, not yourself, but getting people to do it for you, kind of thing. And then you go from there.
I think the reason why some people like Amazon and eBay, it's because they like the fulfillment from Amazon. In terms of finding suppliers, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of that, we don't really look for suppliers to compete with Amazon, because it's going to be very, very difficult to compete with Amazon kind of thing. We look for suppliers that have good reviews, good ratings. They sell a decent amount of orders across their entire product line. We're looking at how they communicate with us individually in terms of response times and kind of the process of dealing with any issues that might occur. So we look at things like that. But we use Aliexpress a lot. There's a lot of suppliers on there now that are offering 10-day shipping pretty much anywhere kind of thing. So that works really well. But there's also other options where you can start to get fulfillment agents to do it for you even quicker. So there are options there as well. So it's not so much about finding someone to compete with Amazon. It's just about finding a supplier that has a really good process in place that's going to make it easier for you to run that business. Because at first you want to make it easy and quick and simple to test that product. And then once you've tested it and it's working, it's profitable, then you can start looking at 3PLs and actually getting your own stock and things like that, and actually sourcing from the manufacturers themselves and getting it all shipped with your own packaging and things like that as well.
But how would you recommend people transition from using a supplier from AliExpress to like wholesale or getting an agent or manufacturing? Is there one that you prefer? Like, do you prefer to use an agent, for example?
I have used agents in the past. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when we first start launching a product, it's just 100% AliExpress. Once you start getting to 10, 15, 20 units a day plus kind of thing, then you want to start looking at agents and fulfillment agents. And there's a bunch of different options out there kind of thing. So you just need to find what's suitable for you, in terms of what you're looking for and what they can offer. And then it's just a matter of just getting in contact with them and seeing what they can do, what kind of deal they can give you. And then you work it out that way.
Actually, one of the things that I wanted to ask too was about marketing. Like, are there key things that you do that really push your store forward and allow you to scale massively?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going back to what I was saying about the platforms and things like that. The different platforms need different marketing angles. They need different creatives depending on kind of which platform you're advertising on. So, things like Facebook, it's very much a platform where people go on not to be bombarded with ads. They go on to look at friends and family and see what they're doing and, and things that their kind of peers are liking. Yeah. So you have to use creatives that kind of fit in with that platform. So this is why you're now seeing a lot of e-com brands using kind of real life social proof type of ads. Yeah. They're not doing the whole corporate product ads, or they're not doing the old style kind of drop shipping ads where you show the products and do some text boxes things. They're actually just getting people talking about how good the product is.
Right.
That's the
just
literally as if your friend is telling you, recording the selfie and telling you how good it is. There's some huge brands doing it. We do it as well, kind of thing. We advise our clients to do kind of social ads like that because they're really, really strong. People don't want to be sold to, and just having someone recommend it, but multiple people, like with a montage, multiple people recommending that product does really well in terms of click-through rates and conversions, because like I said, people don't want to be sold to. They want to see a good product, and they want to see other people, having the problem solved that they have, and if they see that, then they do it. Because at the end of the day, people don't buy the product, they buy what the product gives them, the solution, the benefit. That's what they're buying. They're not buying the product. So, in terms of the marketing, it's all about showing that benefit, that solution, but using that kind of native kind of social kind of angle as well can work really, really well. And that's something we've seen, work incredibly well with some of our clients as well.
Actually, when I go through my Facebook feed, I see that quite a lot, like this user generated content or a lot of people reviewing it, and I'm like, oh, I think they're paid actually. But yeah, but it's convincing though. It's super convincing. But some drop shippers, they don't have a lot of money to start with. I mean, obviously you've shown that you don't need a lot of money to start with. But how would you advise they approach marketing? Because I think that's such a big expense for most drop shippers entering the space.
Yeah, I think just the one word I would, or two words, I guess, would be careful. Would be what I would say to people just getting in. Like I said, when I first started, £250. When I started, it was cheaper to run ads. It's a little bit more expensive now because there's more competition, not just in dropshipping, but just in terms of online advertising in general. Kind of thing. So costs are more expensive than when I first started, which is why, $500 probably would be a good starting point, but you need to stretch that out. If you've only got $500 as a budget, then you can't afford to spend $100 a day on ads, because that only gives your business 5 days to survive.
Right.
But if you're doing, if you've got $500 and you spend $5 a day on ads, you've now got 100 days for your business to survive. It's a huge, huge difference. Yeah, it might take you longer to see results. It took me a long time to see results. That's because I couldn't afford to get quicker results, because spending more on Facebook ads doesn't mean you're going to make more sales. It means you're going to reach more people.
Right.
Yeah. So if your funnel isn't optimized, if you have the wrong product, if you don't understand how to speak to your customer and offer the benefits they're looking for, then you're just going to be spending money for the sake of spending money. Your funnel isn't going to convert. You need to understand, the psychology of selling and why people want that product, and you need to optimize all of that. And it's a lot easier to do that when you have a smaller budget, because you're not blowing through tons and tons of money straight away. You've been able to collect data slowly and make decisions without having to rush anything. So when I first started, £5 a day, that's all I could afford to do. And then once that £5 started making a little bit of profit, I started doing £10 a day and £15 a day, £20 a day, up until the point where I was spending £5,000 a day on ads. But if you told me at the beginning I was going to be spending £5,000 a day on ads, I would have laughed.
No way. Yeah.
So took it very slowly and gradually increased the budgets as we started seeing profits. If you're not seeing profits at $5 a day, you're not going to see profits at $50 a day.
Right.
You need to basically just scale it up slowly if you have a low budget, because it's your business. If you're doing $5 a day with $500 budget, you've got 100 days to make a profit.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really insightful and actually very encouraging for our viewers, because many of them, they're not starting with like, $1,000. They only got $200, $400, $500 to start with. But would you recommend they do Facebook ads, or do you think using another channel would be much better? Like I heard TikTok has been such a craze right now, and a lot of people, dropshippers, are actually using it. What are your thoughts?
TikTok is just another platform. You just have to test it. It's very similar to Facebook in how it works. I don't know if it's a bias on my part, but I see TikTok as being like a younger person's game. Like I'm not too old, so I see TikTok as being a kids thing. I don't know why. I know there's a lot of like people my age and older on it as well, kind of thing. But I see TikTok as a kids thing. So, if you're selling products that are aimed at a younger demographic, then maybe that could work really well. You're talking like your 18 to 24s kind of thing, 18 to maybe 30 potentially kind of thing, and then that could probably work. But yeah, I mean, you just got to have a think about what product it is that you're trying to sell and who your target market is. Yeah, right. And then you want to target a platform you think it's going to work. Facebook and Instagram are still great for products. There's nothing wrong with them, kind of thing, in terms of the reach they have and things like that. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but you're still going to make sales with the right products on.
Right,
that's still going to happen. But there's nothing wrong with testing TikTok. I mean, we have people trying Bing now.
Yeah.
Consider Bing. I see Bing as just that kind of like just something off on the side no one really uses unless they have to, sort of thing. But it's doing well for some people. So you can try different platforms and test it. It all comes down to testing. You have to figure out what's working and what isn't. And then if it is working on TikTok for you, then put all the budget down TikTok. Go that way and do it. Because at the end of the day, all that really matters is it making you profit? It doesn't matter which platform you're using. It's just whether it's profitable or not.
Whichever platform a person chooses, how do they know how much to allocate to it?
In terms of the budget?
Yeah, in terms of the budget.
Yeah. It's just in terms of whatever they can afford to do. Like I said, if they have a $500 budget, then I would be starting at $5 a day. I would be stretching it out, because not only do you get 100 days to make that work, you're also going to get a couple more paydays in there as well to help you out even more.
Right.
Yeah. So I think if you have a lower budget, you should be starting at $5-10 a day, and that's it.
Right. And just like one ad.
Yeah, one ad. Yeah, and just test it. Because you can't afford to test multiple things. We advise people to test 3 different ads kind of thing against different audiences to see how that performs. But you need the budget to do that.
Right.
You can't spend 50 cents on an ad and then make a decision if it's working or not. You're going to have to spend $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on an ad to figure out if it's working. So if you've got 3-4 different ads you want to test, you're halfway through your budget anyway, kind of thing at that point. So yeah, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep the campaign simple. You want to limit the number of ad sets you're testing. You want to be very, very strict with what you're doing if you have a low budget.
How about influencer marketing? Do you think that's something that they can use in the beginning, or ads are the way to go?
Yeah, definitely. I think influencer marketing can be really strong, but there's a lot of pitfalls with it as well, because Instagram is rife with fake accounts and fake followers. So I think picking the right influencer is the challenge now,
Right.
not necessarily whether it works or not. But if you can find someone who's real and has a real engaged following with real comments, and every time that person posts, you get an influx of real people commenting with real kind of just conversation, then yes, that could potentially work really well. And I was actually speaking to someone the other day who's built up a $10,000-$20,000 a month business with Instagram influencer advertising without any paid ads.
That's
But
amazing.
it's also a lot of work. It's a lot of hustle, because of all the comments. You've got to find the influencers, you've got to contact them, you've got to negotiate a price, you've got to then get all the creatives over to them for them to do it, and then you've got to hope those sales come in. And if they do, then they'll come in for 24-hour, 48-hour period, and then it'll stop.
Yeah.
So it's great to get going if you can find good influencers, which are hard to do these days.
Right. Yeah. I think the moral of the story there is that there's no easy way. There's no easy way.
Business.
Yeah.
It's not easy. There's a challenge. You have to be sure you want to do it at the end of the day. And it is hard work, but when it works kind of thing. And it's really good. It can be life-changing as well. So, you have to be motivated at the end of the day to run a business.
Have you done influencer marketing though?
Yeah, I've done it in the past. Kind of mixed results. It's not something I really sort of teach our clients to do. So I think,
Okay.
we help people with it if they want help with it, because I have done it, but it's not something I push kind of in terms of a method of kind of running your stores. But it is a valid method. I just personally don't like it, kind of thing. I think people are looking for quicker results, and if you have the budget, then paid advertising is by far the way to go. You want to link in sort of organic content as well with your own brand and your own social media accounts, and get organic traffic through by posting regularly as well, once you realize that promise is working. But yeah, Instagram influencers isn't something we really do much of, kind of thing, unless we're using them for creative purposes, to get like content for more ads and things like that.
How do you structure your experiments in terms of marketing, no matter like which channel?
Yeah. So we like to test, multiple kind of different creatives with sort of different, whether it be video ads, picture ads, carousel ads kind of thing, or we test different kind of hooks and angles. So in terms of trying to capture what the customer is looking for in terms of a problem or a benefit sort of thing. So we kind of test different sort of the best angles we want, kind of thing. We think it's going to work really well. We test them, and we also test them against different sort of campaigns for single interest testing, which everyone's kind of familiar with. We use kind of open audiences in terms of just not putting any interest in there, just targeting a demographic within a particular country, kind of thing. We test that, and we also test what we call kind of category flexed targeting, where we kind of group interests together in terms of categories. So whether it be brands, so we group a lot of brands together in one ad set, and then narrow it down by a broad audience in terms of the niche we're trying to target, and see if that works. So we test different kind of angles with it. We test different creatives, and then we just kind of review the data, use the data to make decisions, and then make tweaks and optimizations based on what that data says, and then go from there.
As a closing question, because we're running out of time, how do you think people who are entering dropshipping, or not necessarily dropshipping, it could be e-commerce in general, because some of them, I know they do DIY, they like to do wholesale. How do you advise they adapt to the changes that are going to be happening in the next 1 to 2 years? Like, what are your predictions?
I think there's going to be definitely a lot more focus on the branding element, and we're already seeing it now. I think, back when I first started it, you could throw up a random general store with no real kind of brand and sell a bunch of just different products that had no connection to each other and actually do really well. These days, it's a little bit harder to do that, I believe, kind of thing. I think you have to focus on creating more of a brand, around the website and the products and things like that. It not necessarily means you have to go and brand packaging and things or put a logo on the products, but just more a case of creating a branded image around the products you want to sell, kind of thing. So there's definitely a lot more focus on that. We're already seeing it now, kind of thing. I think The improving customer service is definitely going to be one, or customer experience, should I say, in terms of shipping times. Again, we're already seeing it speed up now in terms of just when I first started, shipping times were 30 to 40 days standard sort of thing. Now you're looking at less than 10 days. We have products landed in the UK within 6 days of ordering it from Aliexpress. So the shipping times are definitely improved. We're probably going to see that even more when more and more fulfillment centers pop up and there's more options available. I think the focus really, is really going to be on that brand. It's going to be creating a brand. You can't just be a pop-up store and hope to do a bit of a cash grab. You have to really consider this as a business at the end of the day and create a real business using the dropshipping fulfillment model. Because that's all it is. It's just a retail fulfillment model. It's not anything special. You're running an e-commerce business with a dropshipping model in the back end of it. That's all it is, kind of thing. So, you have to really focus on the e-com brand. E-com is only going to get bigger and bigger, especially now with the whole COVID thing kind of thing. It's going to get, even bigger with everyone.
Yeah, and there's a new variant now. So it's we might go back into lockdown. Who knows?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So everyone's going online. Everyone's shopping online. It's only going to get bigger. More and more countries are coming online in terms of online spending, which is going to open up a huge market in terms of developing countries that may not be tapped into right now. They start spending online, and you go from there. And there's a lot of obviously these kind of split payments popping up now as well. You can use like Afterpay, and I think it's called Klarna. Is it Klarna? It is. So those are definitely appearing a lot more now, where you give people options to split payments, which also helps with more mid to high ticket e-com products as well. If you want to sell something a bit more expensive, you can now offer these split pays where people pay over a certain months kind of thing. So there's a lot of things that could potentially start to happen, but a lot of it is really going to be on focusing on creating that business with a real brand around that dropshipping product.
Okay, so that's really insightful. Thanks so much, Chris. That's all the time we have. I'm going to leave Chris's channel in the description box below if any of you want to learn more about Chris and his e-commerce journey. Thanks, Chris.
Yes, thanks for having me.